So, wanted to talk today about something I believe we all crave a little more of, and that is discipline. I think it's that magical ingredient that helps us bridge the gap between dreaming big and making those dreams a reality. And I wanted to use the lessons I've learned from the samurai. Um, and what I've learned is that their unwavering discipline was to a large degree, I think, the stuff of legends. But, here's the thing, they're not born with some superhuman ability to resist temptation, right? They cultivated their discipline through focused practice and unwavering commitment. And I believe that we can do that too. So today we're going to dive a little bit deep into the heart of the samurai discipline and uncover some practical strategies that you can use to achieve your biggest goals. So, the samurai lived by a strict code, and at the heart of it was discipline. But it wasn't about being hard on themselves, it was about mastering themselves and their minds. They understood that discipline is built on three pillars. So there's practice, patience, and perseverance. And if you think of it like a muscle, the more you work at it, the stronger it gets, right? So the practice means showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It's kind of like working out. Some days you're just like, I just do not want to go and lift weights or go for a run or whatever it is, but you do it anyway because you understand that taking consistent action toward those goals, no matter how small they are, is it's important. And patience reminds us that growth, like real growth, it takes time to develop. It's not something that can happen overnight. There are no shortcuts to mastery, and it's all about understanding and learning to trust the process and staying committed, even when you don't necessarily see the results right away or if they seem slow. And finally, perseverance, I think that's where a lot of us tend to think of the warrior spirit. It's about pushing through challenge, bouncing back from setbacks, never giving up on what matters the most. But, here's the key: the samurai discipline isn't just about willpower, it's fueled by purpose. Having the clear why behind your actions is like having that star that you follow that leads you through the darkest night, right? So, just to just get real, sometimes things are tough, right? Life deals us moments when the path ahead seems insurmountable, and the challenges can sometimes feel never ending. But, even though we hit roadblocks, we face setbacks and start questioning everything, those moments of doubt and frustration is where our true character is tested. I think that's where understanding the why behind your goals becomes the secret weapon that some people miss. It's not just about that end result, but the journey and the purpose that drives you toward that outcome that you want. So when you connect with that deeper meaning behind what you're doing, it's no longer just a task on a to-do list, right? It transforms into a mission and a calling that resonates with your core values and beliefs. To where it becomes a mission, a calling, something you're willing to fight for. In that sense of purpose gives you the strength to push through tough times. And what ends up happening, you emerge stronger on the other side. I remember when I first started writing and, trying to start my, writing business, there's a lot of long hours, there's a lot of uncertainty, it's a lot to manage and handle in addition to having a 9 to 5 job, having a relationship with my wife. And, there are days when I felt overwhelmed and questioned what in the world am I doing and why am I doing this? But, I keep reminding myself the why I started in the first place. I have this vision and this dream to create something meaningful and impactful for others and to be able to pass on my knowledge and make a difference in the world and be able to empower others to live their best lives, whether that's at work or at home. And this purpose is really my guiding light and my source for motivation. And, that why is what's fueling my fire and helping me to keep going, even when things are tough. And it's a reminder, like, no matter how small the step forward that I'm taking, it's a step forward. So I want to, challenge you to ask yourself, like, what is the why behind what you're doing? What's driving you to get up every morning and face the world with determination? What makes your heart sing? What passions ignite your soul and make you feel truly alive? And, what impact do you want to make on the world? How do you want to be remembered? What legacy do you want to leave behind? Write it down, meditate on it, and let it really sink deep into your being and reflect on it daily and let it guide your actions and decisions. Because I've found when you're clear on the why, discipline becomes really an act of love to yourself. It's not a chore anymore. And it becomes a joyful pursuit of your dreams and aspirations. So think of the small steps, right? Which can turn into big wins. It's really the magic of consistent practice and also the essence of Kaizen, right? It's sometimes we can get overwhelmed by the size of the dreams that we have. I'm sure you have too. And we think we need to make these massive life altering changes overnight. But, the samurai knew that mastery is built one step at a time. And just like following a Kaizen practice, it's one small step at a time. It's about embracing the power of consistency, even when it feels insignificant. The legendary swordsman, Miyamoto Musashi, he's been a huge inspiration in my writing. I think he said it best that the way of the warrior is resolute determination, even in small things. So, if you think about it, the samurai sword itself, which is clearly renowned for strength and sharpness, it's forged through just countless hammer blows, each one that shapes the metal, making it stronger. And I believe our journeys are no different. And they can be forged in that same kind of fire with that same, consistent molding. So every small step you take, every action you are taking, no matter how small it might seem, is shaping you and it strengthens your resolve, brings you closer to your goals. So I would argue starting small is a really great spot to be. So commit to one tiny action each day that moves you towards your dreams, and then do it again tomorrow, and then again the next day. And as you start building more and more of those little tiny things, eventually you'll look back and realize that you've come quite a distance. So I believe part of where this takes us is to help us find that flow state, right? The mindfulness in the midst of effort. And in our fast paced world, I believe I've found that it's really easy to get caught up in the hustle, the constant noise, endless notifications on our phones, and that perpetual rush can make us feel like we're always running a race with no finish line. We're constantly bombarded with distractions, trying to juggle multiple things, feeling like we're always on the go. And our minds can be pulled in a lot of different directions, making it really hard to focus on just one thing. But I think we can learn from the samurai and them and what they understood about mindfulness, that being fully present in each moment is vital to our survival. And they practice that art of being present and in the now and fully engaged in what they were doing. They knew that power, comes from focusing on one task at a time and giving it their undivided attention. And I believe that it's that focus that allowed them to perform with precision and excellence. I mean, if you think about it, there's probably times when they had to face multiple opponents, but I think you'd agree that you'd be overwhelmed if you tried to, focus on all of them at the same time. So instead, what they would do is focus on one adversary at a time, right? Who was it that they needed to give their full attention and skill to? And and being present in that moment, no matter how small, is extremely important. So I think when we try to do too much at once, we end up spreading ourselves too thin. Our energy gets scattered, and we end up feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. Our productivity suffers, and our stress levels go through the roof. So, I think a really easy way to think about this and a way to start small is just start simplifying your life. Clear the clutter from your workspace and your mind. Um, Utilize some of the practices that I talk about in 5S Mastery. Create an environment that creates and supports focus and calm, and identify those essential tasks that truly matter and get rid of the rest. Practice the art of single tasking. And, when you're working on a project, give it your full attention, immerse yourself in the task at hand, and let go of that urge to multitask because you're going to get more done in a shorter amount of time. And it may not sound like that's true, but it really is. I mean, I've proven it in my life several times. So, one of the things you can do is silence your phone, close out unnecessary tabs on your browser, really try to create a distraction free environment and practice the art of breathing. Deep mindful breaths help you stay focused and grounded. So throughout the day, it's important to take a few moments to pause, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Recentering and clearing your mind can really help with your focus. And I believe that this simple practice can help you recenter um, in the midst of like the craziness. So I think another really helpful way to cultivate mindfulness is through reflection and understanding, where we've come. So journaling about what's going on can be really helpful and very powerful. Physical activities like yoga or Tai Chi can also, help you stay present and mindful. These practices combine the movement of your body with the breath and helping you connect your body and be in the present moment. So, um, and honestly, like mindfulness is not about perfection, right? There's no such thing there. It's about being conscious and making an effort to be present and engaged. So, um, want to talk and shift a little bit into some samurai strategies that we can use today, like in our own modern world, because sometimes it can be hard to translate. But, the beauty of these principles is that they're really timeless and adaptable. The samurai were masters of discipline, focus, and self improvement. And these qualities are just as valuable today as they were centuries ago. So, a few practical strategies that I've taken from one of my books, Always Improving Lessons from the Samurai, is that, you can create daily rituals for yourself and make it more than just a routine. It's about a practice that allows you to set the tone for your day and, design a morning routine that sets you up for success. This could be as simple as a few minutes of meditation on a particular topic, some light stretching, or even just quiet reflection, Um, do whatever it takes to help you feel grounded and focused and ready for your day. And be consistent. Try to do this every single day. You'll notice a pretty big difference after about a week. So the next thing is embrace the rule of one, right? Like, do not multitask. Just say, I cannot reiterate that enough. Try to do one thing at a time. Identify the one thing that needs to happen in this moment and make it a priority, and then just do it. And as you finish that, move on to the next important task, right? And you'll be amazed at what you can achieve in a short amount of time. And finally, practice self-discipline in the small ways. It's about being consistent no matter what the task is that we're doing. So resist, that urge to hit the snooze button. If you've hit, uh, or rather, if you schedule a time to get up, just get up when your alarm goes off and just be disciplined to do it. Start the day with purpose, choose healthy snacks over bad ones. Choose a healthy lunch over fast food. Small decisions like these can have profound impacts on our well-being and our productivity. And, if the last thing I'm going to talk a little bit about, if you struggle with focus and concentration, try the Pomodoro technique. You can easily Google that and get some details on it, but basically it's set a timer for 25 minutes and work without distraction. Shut all the things down. And that focused burst of activity can really help you accomplish quite a bit in a short amount of time. Excuse me. And then, take a 5 minute break. Go do something else. Don't keep working. Give your mind a break. It helps to maintain that mental clarity. So, um, you know, it's all about embracing our inner warrior. If I can, kind of use that term, it's about understanding who we are. And, the samurai may have lived centuries ago, but the wisdom, courage, and discipline that they used is just as relevant today as as it was then. Discipline isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about self-mastery. And when you master yourself and cultivate the inner strength and focus to create the life you want and love, it becomes really, truly just an act of love. And so here's my challenge to you. So practice one small act of discipline this week, every single day, and reflect on how it makes you feel and the growth that you've seen. And, feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I'm going to leave you a quote from Lao Tzu. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. See you later.